Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And as we all know, I do not do this show by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Pureworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
Never gets old.
Except for that guy.
Except for that guy. He probably doesn't like that.
Yeah, he's probably tired of it, yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. How are we doing today, my friend?
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Pretty good day so far. How's your day going?
My day is going just dandy. It's been full of business, plenty of work, getting a lot of stuff done, being very, very productive. Going to be doing some work here in the studio, trying to spiffy things up a little bit. Luckily, everything that's on camera is all together, but the rest of the place is in shambles. And then my bar is looking, my wall o whiskey is looking kind of bare, so I'm gonna have to go do some shopping later.
There you go. Yeah, let's see, from about here down is all full of paperwork and files and folders. It's just, there's work everywhere in here right now.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. But I make sure that whatever is like here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This
looks
part
good.
is presentable right in here. In this area.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Any special plans this weekend?
No.
No. Yeah, it's hard for me to, other than Monday normally. Well, let's put it this way. I don't take Monday off because, I actually work for a living. Labor Day is not for people who actually work, to be honest. It's for you. It's a union holiday. And I'm not a member of a union.
Yeah, union holiday and a government holiday. So yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But for those of you out there who work and get the day off, enjoy. Just know after Monday, you're no longer wearing white.
That's it. Yeah. Enjoy that last fling of summer and then ditch the white clothes.
Yeah, I got invited to a white party this weekend.
You can't go to a white party.
Half of me can.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, yeah. I was invited to a white party. I was assured there would be no hoods.
Well, I mean, they're white,
Okay, it may be in the hood, but there will be no hoods.
Gotcha. Very nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time this weekend. It's gonna be restful. I've allowed my grass to get incredibly long, and so I gotta handle that. That's something I definitely gotta take care of this weekend.
I just paid a guy to do it. I just have not been able to keep up with mower maintenance and travel. And it was like, I can, we started having Disney animals gathering in the woods behind us. And it was just like, okay, it's time to get it done.
So my daughter has a Yorkie, a little Yorkie, and he likes it because it makes him feel like he's like a lion, pounce like he's a lion in the wild. And he's, trying to pounce on our German Shepherd. The German Shepherd just kind of looks at him like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Get lost, kid.
Pretty much. That's exactly how that's exactly how she treats him. Anyway. All right, folks, it's time to get into the show today. But before we do, you know how we do it. We got to start off by paying those bills. And it starts with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, good friends over at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you get yourself AR rifles, AR barrels for any caliber you want, rifle or pistol caliber, any like you desire. Just check them on out at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. You got the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market. Get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it is, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. We make it real easy for you. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and then tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also, want to
What's up?
encourage you, if you're watching the program live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, encourage you to leave a comment. Let us know what's up. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know what you think about the topic or the program. You don't have to like us. You don't have to agree with us. All we ask is that you are interesting. Just know, though, that if you disagree with us, we do reserve the right to mock you.
Oh yeah, we will mock you. Yeah, yeah.
We will mock you. Hey,
Mock you.
yesterday I got a message from Patrick over at the Gun Food. He was watching from China. From China.
Yeah. I asked him a question. I said, the restaurants there, do they say Chinese food on them or just food?
Food. I wonder.
I'm
That
curious. I
actually
want
is
to
a
know.
very good question.
Yeah.
Well, we do have restaurants that are like American food. So why wouldn't they have Chinese food?
Well, I mean, you see it all. See it here. We got them like American Deli. We got that kind of stuff going on here. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yes, we do. Yes, we
yeah,
do.
yeah.
All right, let's get into the program today. I know probably when you saw the thing, you probably were like, okay, are we going to hear more about this whole Minnesota shooter thing? For those of you who do not know, who've had your head buried in the sand somewhere or just coming up for air, yes, there was another shooting in Minnesota. Well, there was a shooting in Minnesota. It was 2 kids were killed, 17 were injured. Most of those 17 injured were children. It was at a Catholic school, uh, at a church. They were actually at a special service, a mass for the first day of school, and an individual decided that they were going to basically shoot into the church, killing two children, 1 8, 1 10, and from the very beginning, it became very clear that they specifically targeted children. They specifically targeted a Catholic school. And they really wanted to make sure that they left a message, shall we say? It didn't take too long before there was a manifesto that was made available, or that they've come to find out this individual had posted online, along with some other very disturbing content in videos. Um, and I wanted to go ahead, and I'm going to show you a little bit of this, some of the video, a quick clip of the video that this individual had posted online.
Anything else they wrote? Tomorrow. My precious. Help me. I don't want to be here. Well, you're here. Maybe I'll look like a cop and I won't get rushed or something. I don't know.
Now, the interesting thing about this has been the way in which the media has turned around and covered it. First of all, if you go to any media sources, if you go and you check it out, the interesting thing is that most of what you're going to find is how he, quote unquote, was targeting children, which, yes, that in fact we do know. What you also will find, what you won't find is these liberal left wing leanings. Like, first of all, this was an individual, this was a transgender individual, although I, I'm not, this is not an issue for me when it comes to, well, it's because he's transgender. I think this is an individual who clearly was well steeped in liberal left-wing ideology and believed it. If you go to the Google searches here and you look, most of these articles that you see that I have here, and I'll scroll down, hardly in any of these do you hear anything about the fact that on the gun, it says that Trump is mentioned, but it doesn't mention that he said kill Donald Trump. There is an article here, as we see here from, this is CNN, and CNN here is pointing to the fact that, well, he had met a conservative Second Amendment advocate and shooting expert, that he had a collection of guns. And they did as much as possible to try and tie the fact that this individual was uh, 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 both mentally disturbed and was a gun enthusiast. But they didn't mention, once again, they didn't, they're like, not only did they not mention that he was trans, but they went out of their way to try and protect the fact that he was trans and try to go out. They went out of their way to try not to mention, or at least say, don't mention it. If you do, you're an evil person. This is Mayor Fry, a series of things that he had to say about it.
We need to be doing more than talking. It can't just be words. There needs to be action. And when we have seen school shooting after school shooting, when we have seen churches get shot up by horrible actors, I think the impetus has to be on all of us as leaders to do a whole lot more, to recognize that we've got more guns in this country than we have people. And it's on all of us to recognize the truth and the reality that we can't just say that this shouldn't happen again and then allow it to happen again and again beyond that. It's on all of us.
Is that far too often people are robbed of that childhood because of this senseless gun violence. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not about guns, because it is.
Okay, so I told you I put it in the wrong order because I wanted to make sure to tell you what they're doing is they're trying to redirect and not talk about the gender, the sexual identity of the person, but they're trying to make it about the gun.
And all they should be hoping to do is have someone to sit with at lunch or someone to play with on the playground. And they should be waiting to hear an update when they get home. And that is not what these parents at the school experience today. Sorry, this is a tough one. Having your child killed while they are sitting in a pew for a morning prayer service is not what any parent should have to worry about. And I have felt a mixture of anger and a lot of anger and emotional exhaustion about this today, as I'm sure many of you have, because we have been here so many times. And yet again, like clockwork, half of the politicians in our country have little more to offer than thoughts and prayers. That is all they are offering. Join all of us in praying for the victims, was Vice President J.D. Vance's response today. That's what he said. That's it. Please join me in praying for everyone involved, Trump wrote. We have seen this play out over and over again. There is a shooting, then come the thoughts and prayers, and then comes the attempt to shift the focus. This is what always happens. You're going to start seeing narratives. You're already seeing them. They're already out there about how the shooter was trans. You're going to see narratives about how the shooter appeared to be anti-Trump and anti-Semitic, and clearly was in the midst of a mental health crisis. There's no question about that. But here's the thing. There are trans people all over the world. There are anti-Semitic people, unfortunately, all over the world. And people filled with plenty of political hate all over the world. And mental health issues are not unique to the United States. And yes, we should do more to address them. But it's also an issue all over the world. But this is the only country where shootings like this one happen this often. The United States.
So there are so many lies in everything that she just said. First of all, and you and I know Dr. John Lott has done phenomenal work in terms of pointing out, yet no, when you look on a per capita basis, it happens more often in many other countries than it does here, especially once you include violence in general, not just firearm violence. The other thing is thoughts and prayers. Yeah, thoughts and prayers don't stop school shootings. Thoughts and prayers are for the families of the victims, to pray for their comfort, to pray that they would receive solace, to pray that they would be able to get through this very, very hard time. That's what prayers are for. And once again, their whole goal is they want to go after the guns, and they act as if these guns shoot themselves.
Craig, I have thoughts and prayers, obviously, for the family as well, but my thoughts and prayers go to praying that the people of Minnesota finally wake up and get rid of their ass clown of a governor that they have, that put rules in place that defunded the police. It did not allow the police to do their job there. Look what's going on in D.C. right now. I don't know, more police and more presence, 0 shootings in 2 weeks. How's that hard to figure out? How about getting rid of the mayor and the state house there and allowing these people to defend themselves? How about the schools have, armed officers or armed teachers. How about that? How about letting them protect themselves? Let them protect these children the way they protect themselves at home. How about we get rid of the politicians that allow these killings to happen? The blood is on their hands, Craig. It's on the hands of the politicians that stand out there and say the gun did it.
Well, and the other thing is this, and I want to be very, very clear, because if you look at a lot of the stuff that's going on here, this isn't just about someone who is trans. This is about someone who has bought into, as a Ben Shapiro likes to talk about, the unicause. It's the everything leftist, the trans theory, the the critical race theory, the climate change theory, the modern feminism, the all of that, the unicause. And what they're doing is they're listening to the left. They're telling them, and specifically to the trans community, they're telling them Donald Trump wants to kill you. Donald Trump wants to lock you up. Donald Trump, they want to make being trans a crime. They want to do this and they want to do that. And they're coming after you to kill you and yada, yada, yada. And they're literally, while common sense people hear that and they get that it's hyperbole, in every group, including the leftists, including the Democratic Party, there are people who hear that and think, that means that this is war, and the way in which to fight war is with violence, and so we're going to go after and we're going to kill them. They are the people of faith. They are the Christians. They are the Jews. They are the Republicans. They are the white people. They are the police. And they now think it's okay to fight the culture war with violence.
Yeah, obviously the rhetoric of the left is what's driving this violence, Craig. Absolutely. But again, I've got to go back to here. You've got a state that defunded the police, that decriminalized crime, that allows a mentally ill individual to have firearms and walk around and not let other citizens protect themselves against him.
Right. Well, here's the thing, Mike, and this actually brings us to our next story. You might remember there was a shooting took place not too long ago. Back, I think it was 2023, but anyway, they basically shot up another church. It was another trans individual. But in this particular case, afterwards, in the state of Minnesota, there was a group of folks who went to the governor, who went to the state legislature, and they asked for a pittance, a small amount of money, so that they could actually provide armed security, because they recognized there had been and there has been an increase in violence against organizations of faith, whether it's I don't want to call it whether they're pro-life family planning clinics, whether they're actual churches, or whether they're Christian schools. They're like, hey, we need, at least at our schools where we protect our children, we need some additional resources. Now, they asked for $50 million out of $17 billion surplus, so that they could have funding for armed security at private Christian schools. And here it says, it is all too sadly tiresome to be outraged over the obvious narrative rigging every time a mass shooting occurs in this country. Was the motive white supremacy? Whites are responsible. No. Is the motive theoretically conservative in some way, shape, or form? No. Obviously no. Are conservatives responsible? No. Was the target a liberal demographic or a public space? No. Hate is responsible? No. Let me move down here. So imagine my worried surprise to see with the Washington Post headline beside the clip of Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey speaking outside the site of the shooting at the Catholic school in Minnesota on Wednesday, perpetrated by a God-hating, Jew-hating, Trump-hating former student who identified as transgender. Quote, Minnesota lawmakers urge action against gun violence, because when the gun is what is responsible, the left needs to get ahead of some fairly unpleasant optics toothpaste. Where's the story here? One get tempted for you to talk about the clip of the Post. We got more guns. As for Waltz, it turned out he could have gone a long way to prevent this. twice in 2 years, Minnesota Catholic Conference, described by the National Catholic Register as, quote, the public policy voice of Minnesota's six dioceses, explicitly asked Governor Walz for security against school shootings, security that, as it turns out, public schools receive. They were rebuffed. Quote, there are approximately 72,000 students enrolled in independent Catholic, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim non-public schools in our state. The 2023 letter from the Minnesota Catholic Conference to Walz read, the latest school shooting at a non-public Christian school in Tennessee sadly confirms what we already know. Our schools are under attack. In Minnesota, non-public schools, particularly our Jewish and Muslim schools, have experienced increased levels of threats, of all of which we must take seriously. That shooting, by the way, was also perpetrated by a transgender individual, which is one of the reasons why they got scuttled from the front pages post haste. Quote, we are asking your assistance in making sure Minnesota legislature enacts your budget recommendation of $50 million to establish the building of cybersecurity and grant program and include all schools as eligible for funding, which they are public charters or non-public schools. The exclusion of one sector of schools, as you know, non-public schools serve many students and families in need of services, is a discriminatory act against students, the letter continued. So basically, they asked for $50 million to basically get what public schools already get when it comes to this sort of protection. And Walz says no. Now, I'm listening to these guys say, we see this happen, and then we do nothing. They were given the opportunity to do something that actually would have directly impacted the ability of this shooter to do what they did. They did nothing. And the media, most of the mainstream media, says nothing. I had to go to the Western Journal to find this article.
Yeah, this is just one thing, one minor thing, right? We know that, again, that the politicians have allowed this to happen with their, the defunding the police and decriminalizing crime, having subsidized or giving them the same thing that public schools already have. They said, no, the blood's on their hands, Craig. They set this school up for a shooting.
Oh yeah, they did. They made them a target. I mean, when you decide that you are not going, when you say, because here's the thing, the interesting thing about this is this shooter scoped out where they were going to go. They picked a place that had not only had significance, but where they knew there would be little resistance. No parents, right? No guns. No parents definitely means no guns. Nobody with a concealed carry permit at all. Nobody who has it's going to take someone a while to be able to take that in, to take them out, right? If it had been a place where they would have had, oh no, by the way, there's a reason why he chose a Catholic school and not a Jewish school, because most of the private Jewish schools, actually, especially day schools, they actually had armed security. They pay a boatload of money to have armed security, but the Catholic school didn't. He literally picked them because they were easy targets. They were soft targets. And this guy this governor made them soft targets by not giving them the resources necessary to defend themselves.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's your blame. Look at your politicians. They allowed this to happen.
Right. I'm just saying, if we want to play the blame game, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Governor, I'm sorry, but you've got egg all over your face.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Shame on you allowing these children to be.
Yes. Shame on you. There appears to be another turnaround, whatever you want to call it, in Washington, D.C., and it has to do with the success that the federal troops have been having right there in Washington, D.C. And it turns out Mayor Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C., actually is talking about how the federal surge in D.C. is helping combat crime. It says here, President Donald Trump's law enforcement surge is helping combat crime in D.C., but causing fear and anxiety in some communities. Mayor Muriel Bowser said during a news conference Wednesday. In the weeks since the federal assistance started, the city has reported fewer gun crimes, fewer homicides, and an extreme reduction in carjackings, like an 80 some odd percent reduction in carjackings, Bowser said. The mayor's comments come as the surge of officers and National Guard troops approaches the end of its third week. She met with Trump on Wednesday for what she characterized as a courtesy meeting, and had a conversation with Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and U.S. Army Attorney General Pam Bondi. Quote, "We greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in the city," Bowser said. During the hour-long briefing with reporters, Bowser said D.C. police need about 500 more officers to reach the 4,000 figure that city leaders think is necessary for staffing. Between August 7th and August 26th, there were 4 carjackings compared to 31 at the same period last year, an 87% reduction according to city data. There was a 47% drop in burglaries and a 38% drop in homicide. City Administrator Kevin Donahue, citing, quote, fairly precipitous declines in robbery, carjacking, and overall violent crime, said the